Good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. Program Director, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much, Program Director. It's important for me to recognize protocol first. So the president of the political party, Honorable Khif Hendricks, let me acknowledge you. Let me acknowledge the members of the National Executive Committee, our spokesperson, Councillor Shamima, our SG, Farid Ahmad, and our councillor, Mr. Hendricks, but the younger version. Let me also acknowledge the youth leadership that we have in the organization. The president, the deputy president, and all its structures. And let me take this opportunity to acknowledge you, the members of JAMAAH in the Western Cape. Mr. President, I did not prepare a speech, but what I want to do is to prepare our people. South Africa is engaged in a modern-day struggle. We are fighting for the preservation of our liberty and our right to self-determination. Those words are not a rhetoric. That is the threat that faces our country today. We, as South Africans, have a collective responsibility to prevent this country from regressing into an apartheid state through a democratic process. I'm hoping that you are listening to what I'm saying. South Africa must be prevented from regressing into an apartheid state through a democratic process. The only way in which we can acknowledge, in which we can honor, and in which we can recognize our heroes across all movements, across all political party formations, across all the countries that contributed to the liberation of South Africa, is to ensure that the power of the state remains with the majority of the country. Our speaker mentioned something very critical, and I'm going to start with what the professor said. The professor said, look at yourself, look at what you are doing, and then measure that against the progress that you want to see. And then come to a determination as to whether you want to point a finger or you want to take responsibility for where our country is today. Apart from the introduction that I received, I'm going to tell you an additional important factor, especially for you. Under General, I consider myself as nobody. But in the city of Johannesburg, I'm the most important person that is there. If you match the two, it gives you a sense of who you are and how you are able to relate with people, because it is not about a position. It's about the reason why you have been deployed into a position. President Hendricks is a visionary. He understood that in order to be inclusive, he had to create a platform. And that's where our slogan comes from. It says JAMAAH is a platform for all communities. And by communities, it doesn't mean geographical location. It means race, it means creed, it means your cultural background. JAMAAH is a vehicle that you can contribute towards to be the change that you want to see in your society. My vote to JAMAAH is a vote that enables me to guarantee my word to the communities. Because our deployees are accessible to all the community members. Our deployees in JAMAAH are not celebrities. They are servants of the people at the core. When they enter an environment, you cannot distinguish between them and ordinary members of society. And that is exactly what we need. We are not here for rhetoric, and we are not here for celebrity status. South Africa does not need poets that are going to give us beautiful speeches. And then when they walk out, they are complicit to criminal and corruption allegations. South Africans need leaders that are going to sacrifice not only themselves, but sacrifice the very lifestyle that they had aspired to live so that they can be in service to the communities. President Khif, many people do not understand that you are probably the only political party that has a mayor that has not yet been implicated in corruption charges in the city, especially in the city, biggest city in the whole of South Africa. The integrity of JAMAAH is demonstrated in practice. The values of JAMAAH are demonstrated in practice. Whether political party, organ of state, or members of the communities understand that JAMAAH leads with integrity, discipline, and is a corruption-free political party. That is a milestone, Mr. President. JAMAAH is a political party that believes in opportunities. JAMAAH is not a political party that is here to solicit your vote so that we can forget about you tomorrow. JAMAAH is a political party that believes in young leadership. JAMAAH wants to see the future of the country being placed in the rightful hands at the right time. The president of JAMAAH understands that you cannot be responsible for the biggest budget in the country and yet be driving to make money for retirement. I'm still too young. I've got a long way to go. So those issues are not important to the political party. What is of importance is what do we do to fix what has been broken. And we do not need assistance from those that have oppressed us in the past. We can do it ourselves through trial and tribulations as long as we fight for our right to self-determination. Mr. President, we are not a celebrity organization. What we are Mr. President, is a political party that gives our people an opportunity. And I urge you today that on the 29th, when you go to the voting stations, do not think about the beautiful things that you have told. Look at the actions of the people that are reflected on that ballot board. And then you will understand who to vote for change, who do you vote for stagnation, and who do you vote for the preservation of a historical apartheid system that exists still today. So without taking more time, Program Director, mine is a humble gratitude, not only to the political party, but to every member that is part of Al-JAMAAH. It is because of you that Al-JAMAAH will be a political party that is being chased post-2020, post the 29th of May for coalition discussions. And for now, the mandate comes from here. Thank you very much.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva Hanif Hendricks, viva! Viva Al-JAMAAH, viva! Uhanifu lona habamaziyo habazange bambona abazange bambona bona abazange bambona uhanifu lona habamaziyo habazange bambona Al-JAMAAH lena Al-JAMAAH lena habayaziyo habazange bayibona Hanifu lona habamaziyo habazange bambona oh abazange bambona abazange bambona
Abamasiyo abazange bambona kuhanifilo abamasiyo abazange bambona abazange bambona Uhanifu lona hanifu oh abamasiyo abazange ba uhanifu lona oh abamasiyo oh ayabazange bambona abazange bambona oh abazange bambona abazange bambona uprofessor lona ayabamaziyo abazange ba uprofessor lona ayabamaziyo abazange oh ayabazange bambona abazange bambona abazange bambone abazange bambone Al-JAMAAH lena oh abayaziyo abazange ba uthapelo lona oh abamasiyo abazange bambone abazange bambone hey oh abazange bambone abazange bambone ukabelo lona oh abamasiyo abasange bam ukabelo lona oh abamasiyo abasange bambona kuba mayine kula mayine kula FIFA chama FIFA FIFA Khif Hendricks FIFA FIFA bayana kamera FIFA Woo! Woo!
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Amandla! Gawethu! Shukran jazilan.
Thank you, Councillor Stilweni. For that revolutionary display. I also thank the Executive Mayor, Councillor Cabello Gomanda, for his address to us today. And I would just like to share something very special. Last night when we went to receive him at the airport, we were having some informal discussions about things in general. And so that you know that the job of a mayor is one of the most difficult jobs to have in this country, or I think any other country for that matter. Because a mayor has to deal with service delivery. And that is your lights, your water, your sewage. Now these are things that affect us at home and in our communities. The Member of Parliament, people are not worried much about what they speak in Parliament, the laws that they're trying to pass, the bills that they're trying to submit it. People are not worried about it, but what they are worried about is that lights in the road. What they are worried about is that potholes. What they are worried about is your drainage system. So it's a very important job for a mayor. Now if there's one pothole somewhere, the mayor is to be blamed. Even though that pothole, how is he supposed to know what the street's name is some 2 hours drive from his office? But he is responsible. So the responsibility is quite heavy. So he was giving me various examples last night about how they hold him to account for one light bulb, for one pothole, and it becomes a big debate. And then I mentioned to him that you need to somewhat perform some miracle for people to start speaking good about you. For example, start walking on water. I joked with him. So he said, Yusuf, even if I should walk on water, people will still complain and say, kyk daai maya, hy kan nie swem nie. So this is a difficult task, and we applaud him and we congratulate him for being strong in that position, especially being a member of Al-JAMAAH and a stalwart for Al-JAMAAH. Thank you once again. Please give him another round of applause. We were going to take a break, but we have one more item left on our program, and we will finish a bit earlier. Once that item is finished, we will close the program, And I want you to support our vendors. On the left-hand side, one of the classroom, there's a vendor there. On the right-hand side, there's a food truck, a vendor. At the back of the hall, there are 2 vendors. I urge you to please support them. And for those who are unable to support, we will be discussing that with your team leaders, particularly the children. We will have something for you at the end of this program, inshallah. So I would like to introduce our final speaker, and that is none other than the President of the Al-Jamaah Party, Honorable Khif Hendricks. And just a very brief background. Honorable Khif Hendricks was a lecturer at the University of Western Cape and Peninsula Technikon, now called the Cape CPUT for those who know, and Cape Peninsula University of Technology. He was also a teacher at Mount View High School, Bridgetown High School, Rosedale Primary School, and Easter Peak Primary School. He was also a chairperson of the Management and Leadership Development Association in Langa. He also worked as a regional personnel manager and later a national industrial relations specialist at Nestle for over 18 years. He was a human resource director at MWeb, and he co-founded Radio 7 at 6 in 1995. In 2002, Honorable Khif Hendricks was given the Pioneer of the Internet in South Africa award. Now, he was a responsible person for us having internet in South Africa today, so that we can enjoy the likes of social media, WhatsApp, Twitters, internet searching and browsing. He also founded Al-Jamaah in 2007, a party intended to uphold Muslim rights and interests in South Africa. And he was elected to the Cape Town City Council in 2011 as Al-Jamaah's sole councillor. And then he was re-elected again in 2016. In 2019 general election, national election, Al-Jamaah won 1 seat in the National Assembly, and Honorable Khif Hendricks took up this seat. He was sworn into office using the first Quran written by Tuan Guru whilst on Robben Island in 2007. Tuan Guru was imprisoned in Robben Island in 2007 and wrote this very Quran that Honorable Khif Hendricks held when he was sworn into Parliament. It is important for us to note that he served for the past 5 years. Honorable Khif Hendricks served on various portfolio committees. The portfolio committees are as follows. It was a joint standing committee on intelligence, the standing committee of public accounts, portfolio committee on employment and labor, portfolio committee on health, portfolio committee on home affairs, portfolio committee on international relations and cooperation, portfolio committee on justice and correctional services, portfolio committee on small business development, and the portfolio committee on water and sanitation. These are the portfolio committees that Honorable Khif served over the past 5 years. So without any further ado, I'd like to call upon Honorable Khif Hendricks to do a presentation to us here today. Viva Al-Jamaah, viva! Viva Al-Jamaah, viva! Viva Khif Hendricks, viva!
Viva Al-Jamaah, viva! Assalamu alaikum, a very good afternoon. I want to thank all our candidates for bringing their families and their neighbors and friends to this event. It is a job well done. I also have my family here, and I want them all to come on the stage, starting with my wife Fatima, my brother Nadim and his wife, my daughter Khairunisha, and also my brother Councillor Ahmad Hendricks. While he's struggling to come to the stage, I was by a scam. I want to call on our members in New Horizon to come on the red carpet. I want our members from New Horizon to stand on the red carpet. They are our best, most hard-working members. Then I want our training manager, Mahdi, to come and stand next to me. Mahdi Samaudin. Mahdi, come here, come here. Now, Mahdi, don't look at the people. Look at Al-Jamaah there. Turn around. What do you see on his sweater? It says he is number 1 of 1 million members. Thank you very much. You can have a seat. So we started the project to get 1 million members. And today we announced, I want to announce, we have 1 million members. And with that 1 million members, I want our best supporters who come from New Horizon near Pelican Park, to sing a song, Ons gaat wen. Kom ons hoor, julle moet sing, Ons gaat wen. Julle moet op en af die red carpet loop. Julle moet op en af die red carpet loop. Weet julle nie om te loopie? Like New Horizon, Ons gaat wen. New Horizon, ek wil hê julle moet omdraai, loop op die red carpet en sing. Draai om, loop op die red carpet en sing, maar julle kan terugkom agterna. Now I want to tell you a story about our executive mayor. Hy lyk maar so stil. Yesterday, thank you New Horizon. Julle kan gaan sit, thank you very much. Ons gaat wen! Thank you, New Horizon. Die kantoor by New Horizon, hulle vang baie dinge aan. Die kinders kom dan na ry kantoor vir hulle name. Baie kinders was nooit gedoepie, kom hulle na ry kantoor vir 'n naam. Hulle kom om te trou. Hulle doen baie dinge by hy kantoor in New Horizon. Ek bly weg van hy kantoor. A round of applause for New Horizon. this executive mayor, Kabelo Kwamanda, was supposed to come on Saturday morning. But then he was asked by one of the kings in Gauteng. The previous king died, so the new king had to be inaugurated, and he was a guest speaker. So they sent me a video of the inauguration, and he was naked. He only had a skin on him. And I don't know, he had something on his head. And he had a shield and a spear. So our mayor was ready if anyone came to attack the king. The king asked him to sit down. And then he sat down to a girl who looks like Ramla. Ramla, where are you? Just show them how you look. Ramla, stand up. Where's Ramla? Yeah, so you can stand there. But a girl that looked like her was sitting next to the king. She was the queen. So when the mayor sat down, my wife Fatima was also watching. She's supposed to come to the stage. She told me, "Maar kyk hoe kyk sy die mayor aan." She can tell you more about later on. The mayor didn't know that this young girl, who is a queen, was admiring him. Now, he's a great mayor. I'll tell you why he's the best mayor South Africa has ever had. Number one, he got his initial training with JAMAAH, and I told him, "Mayor, this Joburg is the richest city in Africa. All the wealthiest people live here. Hulle maak geld in die Joburg. And it's because of the work that the mayor does." But he was only a councillor. So I told him, "I give you 1 year to remove the DA as mayor of Joburg." So he got together some of the political parties, and the first thing they did, they got rid of the DA chief whip. Then they got rid of the DA speaker. And before the year was over, they got rid of the DA mayor. It is not right that the city of Joburg, the biggest city, be run by an apartheid political party. So this was a victory for apartheid. We removed the DA mayor, although she was black. She was looking after the interests of the whites. She went to a meeting of 500 Jewish people and she said, "I stand with Israel." When I heard that, I told the mayor, the councillor, your job is to get rid of that mayor. So he got rid of the mayor. And now we weren't interested to be the mayor. We only 3 councillors out of 200 in Joburg. How can we become the mayor? But we can plot and we can plan. En ons kan hulle uitskop. Net soos ons gaan maak in die Kaap en in Western Cape. We are busy plotting and planning om die DA uit te skop in die Western Cape government en die DA uit te skop in die city of Cape Town. So the political parties had so much confidence in this councillor. They came to me at a big funeral and they said, "Honorable Hendricks, you have 3 good councillors in the city of Joburg. Give us a mayor. So I gave them Councillor Kabelo Kwamanda. Round of applause. When he took over, sy skoonpa is 'n Muslim. Sy skoonpa sit hom op sy plek. When he became mayor, there was only 400 million rand in the bank, in the kitty. Today there's 2 billion rand in the kitty. The Action SA, ANC, DA got a rotten audit. Hulle het gesteel. The auditor didn't want to sign their financial statements. It was the worst audit in South Africa. Kabelo Kwamanda was only there 12 months. He got a clean audit. Round of applause. While he was the mayor, he commissioned 3 power stations in 18 months. Round of applause. He sat with me and the Premier of Gauteng, and we agreed on 30 projects. And the money was there for the projects. And in December, there was a report by the city manager that thumbs up for all 30 projects. Well done, Mayor. But the ANC and the DA and Action SA tried 10 times to remove him because they wanted to steal and loot the money. Joburg is the richest city in Africa, not only South Africa. As baie geld daar, hulle wil net steal and steal and steal. He stopped it. But before him, there was another mayor, Imam Tapelo Ahmed. I told him, you go in and you make all the young people, Africans, Indians, coloreds, who are working there for 2 years with degrees, with honors, make them permanent. Make the city manager permanent. Make your top 4 people permanent. Because they had all contracts with the DA, contracts with Action SA, and contracts with the ANC. If you're not an ANC member and the ANC rule, they give you a temporary contract. If you're not a member of the DA and the DA rules, they give you a temporary contract. And if you're not a member of Action SA, they give you a temporary contract. JAMAAH gave 200 people permanent contracts. And then they started to look for faults and dirt on our first Muslim mayor. And he told me, President, I must fight all of them all the time. I can't do my work. I'm resigning. I told him, resign. So when the council had their next meeting, they said, JAMAAH, you did such a good job. Give us another mayor. And we gave them Kabelo Kwamanda. But this mayor, hy dink hy gaan terug huis toe, hy bly. When we win the elections on Wednesday, he must prepare us to take over the provincial government of the Western Cape. JAMAAH has the most experienced people to run the Western Cape province. We've got the best advocates in South Africa. We've got environmental specialists. We have employment experts. We have everything that the Western Cape needs. Hulle dink ek was vas in die slaap vir 17 jaar. I built up a government for the Western Cape. Hier sit hulle almal. Round of applause. En baie van julle wat daar sit, moenie gerus wees nie, ons gaan julle almal intrek in die government. Nou as my broer Nadim, waar is hy? Waar is Nadim? Nadim kom na die States, ek weet jy sukkel met jou voet. Jou vrou het jou geskop en toe is jou voet stikken. Sy kon elke dag laat huis toe because sy serve die community. Hy kon sy 1 o'clock in die nacht huis toe. Dis my broer Nadim Hendricks, principal van Trafalgar High School. Nadim is die persoon wat my advice op Palestine. Hy is by elke march. Die laaste march het hy ook vir die MJC gesê, kyk, laat ons march, sodat die mense kan onthou om nie vir die DA, die Action SA, die Sun Party, die Imam Sheikh Party te vote, because hulle almal kry geld van die Zionists. Nou wil ek graag, I want to tell you, I've got a letter here from the Society for the Protection of the Constitution. My first speech in Parliament was, I was in Libya in 1974. Baie van julle wat nog nie gebore nie. I was a student at the University of Western Cape and president of the MSA. And my job was to get weapons for the liberation movement in South Africa. We needed tanks, we needed machine guns, AK-47s, hand grenades. So I went to Libya in 1974, and the PLO, Yasser Arafat's office in Benghazi, I sat down with them and I told them, go speak to Brother Muammar Gaddafi and get us weapons. So the weapons went from Libya to Angola and a Russian truck. And the weapons that was over was stored in the yard of Sheikh Sadullah Khan's father in Vryburg. Hy weet nie even dat hy gebeur het nie. But that was the plan. Now the weapons came also from Western Sahara, another country that's occupied. And that country gave South Africa 60 tanks to defend itself in the neighboring countries. Okay, so when my maiden speech in Parliament, the kloppele was hande. My maiden speech was that Hamas, the resistance, must get weapons because the PLO gave us our first weapons, and that was responsible for the freedoms we enjoy today. Die ANC het baie sag hande geklop. Now, if you give your maiden speech, dan skree hulle, dan klop hulle, maar hulle hande baie sag geklap. Natuurlijk, die DA het geboe. Die Freedom Front Plus het geboe. Die PAC het gesê, ja, maar hulle het nie nog hard hande geklop vir my eerste maiden speech. For 2 years, the ANC didn't respond to my speeches on Palestine. Now, Lady Pando did not respond. The ambassador of Palestine saw that I'm speaking in favor of the Palestinian people, and told me, Khif, we wrote so many letters to government, to Pando. They don't reply to our letters. We have problems. We need them. So I went to serve on the International Relations Committee, and the chairman is my friend. And we started lobbying and planning and plotting. I can't tell you what we did, but suddenly South Africa decided to go to the International Court of Justice in The Hague to end the genocide, and also recently to have a ceasefire. Today I got a letter from the Society for the Protection of the Constitution, and they told me, remember that when you were struggling with the ANC for 2 years, you came to us because we are lawyers, we are advocates, we are judges, we are magistrates, and we've been working very hard, and we applied pressure, and we want to thank you because it's because of JAMAAH that the cases went to The Hague. Viva JAMAAH, viva! I don't want to claim credit for the court case in The Hague and the court case to declare Netanyahu and his ministers war criminals in the International Criminal Court. There are 2 courts in The Hague. Everyone made a contribution, but I was so honored that today I got this email from this society who acknowledged the role JAMAAH has played. You heard earlier on, I serve on most of the committees in Parliament. Ek haloop soos 'n hond rond om te gaan na daai meeting en die meeting, but later on there was COVID, so I could have 5 iPads and attend 5 meetings at the same time via Zoom. And then I also introduced 5 bills in Parliament. Now, if you are a member of Parliament, your only job is to prepare a bill, to have the bill get a constitutional certificate, and then a debate in Parliament. So you're not sure whether you're going to win because I'm only one member out of 400. So I have to persuade everyone else to vote with me. Then we get a member of Parliament who was kicked out by the Freedom Front Plus Imam Sheikh that says I did nothing in Parliament for 5 years. They all captured. Then we also have the Sun Party. They also have a lot to say about JAMAAH, but their leader was a fundraiser for Action SA who supports Israel. Then we have the Ahmad Kathrada Foundation who wants to throw out our mayor because he's doing a good job. They also tried to throw out our previous mayor, Imam Tepalo Ahmed. I went to jail for Ahmad Kathrada when I organized 100 Muslim organizations to call for the release of Nelson Mandela, and the resolution was passed. They asked me to write the resolution. So I put there Nelson Mandela's name, and I added Ahmad Kathrada because he was a Muslim. So when they arrested me, they told me, we don't mind Nelson Mandela, but why did you put Ahmad Kathrada? So I told them, I did because he's my Muslim brother. Why can't I add his name? And this same organization, the Ahmad Kathrada Foundation, they are anti-revolutionary. They've been captured. They man rol in sy graf. My mother and my auntie Aisha Bulli from Mecca went to visit his mother to sympathize with her when he was locked up in Robben Island. So the Ahmad Kathrada Foundation must close down or they must get new people. They are anti-revolutionary and they are a threat to our democracy. Round of applause. So as you can see, it's not easy for Al-Jamaah. They attack us from all sides. The good news is, and this is what I want to share with you, that there is a resistance organization in South Africa working underground. If the DA take over, they will then start a revolution. Because we don't want the return to apartheid. This resistance movement has got thousands of members. They've got resistance chats. That brother sitting there, he's a member of that chat. He reads their chat. Many of you read their chats. They tell us what's happening in Gaza every hour. How many Israelis we killed. How many tanks we bombed. How many bulldozers we bombed. They are respected by the resistance movement all over the world. And yesterday they posted on the resistance chat that South Africa is going to have an election. And the only political party that they prepared to recognize for fighting for the liberation of Palestine, the end to the occupation, and also for a ceasefire is Al-Jamaah, no one else. They said not even the ANC, because we know Al-Jamaah did the hard work. We know that you pressurized the ANC to go to the International Court. So they didn't send me a letter like the Society for Protection of the Constitution. They posted it on the chat. And I am chat number 5. And I was surprised to read that whole post was about what Al-Jamaah has done for the Palestinian struggle, and that they depend on Al-Jamaah to return to Parliament, to continue the work we've done. And they have asked that everyone votes for Al-Jamaah, and we're asking you to vote for Al-Jamaah. Round of applause. Now I want to teach you history. I was a history teacher in Bridgetown. I had a matrics. I also a history teacher at Mountview, and also a school in Bonteheuwel. And with my experience of history, we obviously look at how did our liberation start. For the first time you will hear that the liberation was started by the Pan-African Congress, members from Khif who came to Cape Town. They killed all the spies and the traitors that sold the land in the Eastern Cape. They came back to Queenstown Station and they were caught, and 10 of them were killed and 75 were hanged and buried in Mamelodi. And they all came back to be reburied in Khif. So Al-Jamaah went to Khif, where Chris Hani grew up with his grandfather, and we went to sympathize with their mothers and their grandmothers and told them, thank you for the sacrifice of your sons who were hanged, and that's why we have the freedom that we enjoy today. So they asked for a Jojo tank, and I made a phone call, and within 3 hours there was a Jojo tank. They asked for water, and Yusuf Khan, Dalwa Advocate, and the SG organized a bulldozer to bring water to that place. They've asked us to build a community hall so that a woman can get their SASSA pensions. And I brought a builder down from Cape Town the next day, and he started digging the foundations. We have to show gratitude to the Gogos, the families whose children were hanged for the freedoms we enjoy today. The ANC did nothing for them because they were members of the PAC. The ANC were jealous that they hanged for our freedoms. Then I went to Delmas, and the reason I went to Delmas is to go to the court where another 100 people were sentenced to 40 years imprisonment for organizing the 1976 riots. So we brought 1,005-liter cans of water to Delmas, and those people really appreciate it. Then they told me that in Kufumvaba, there's a clan called Al-JAMAAH. Can you believe that? In Kufumvaba, you know, they got tribes and they got clans. And they told me that you are a son of the Al-JAMAAH clan, welcome home. Nou wil hulle hê ek moet daai velletjie aantrek en almal hy goed. I leave that to the mayor when he inaugurates the kings. So all over South Africa in 100 villages, Al-JAMAAH is busy working on the farms. We have planted 200,000 vegetable plants because our target is 1 million. And the people harvest it, they eat it, they sell it, they make more money, and they plant. And Al-JAMAAH has built an agricultural school. Now you will say, but what about the Western Cape? Jy weet in die Transkei en die Eastern Cape en Free State, wat van die Western Cape? I have an investor worth 120 billion rand ready to investigate, to invest in South Africa and build a petroleum factory. Round of applause for that. I have an investor that wants to build a factory for electric motor cars and also charging stations all over South Africa. I have an investor from Oman who's prepared to build a dam in the Transkei. The Transkei was the first people, including Mandela, to fight for our freedom, but the last to get water. So we're building an 80-meter dam in a place near Maclear, which is going to cost 2 billion rand. And the investors from Oman is ready to come and talk to me about it because I was on the committee for water for 5 years, so I know about all the water challenges. So I wanted to give a brief idea of what Al-JAMAAH is doing, but the time is very limited. We want you to go and support the vendors. We want to thank the mayor for coming late last night and to address us. But like I said, hy gaan nie bly, hy gaan nie huis toe nie, because Wednesday we're going to win the election, we'll have the balance of power, and he has to help us kick out all the DA people in Wall Street and put Al-JAMAAH people here. If you are not enough, then I want to take many of you to fill the offices in Wall Street. And then inshallah in 2026, we're going to kick out the DA from the city of Cape Town. We're then going to replace it with many of you. So you must sign up as members. You must come for training, but Mahdi will train you on what to do. Because, lastly, 20 churches have joined Al-Jamaah. Roman Catholic, Anglican, I don't even know all the names, and altogether is 5 million members. 500 of them are campaigning today, Sunday, at all the churches and telling their people, vote for Al-Jamaah. More Christians are telling the people, vote for Al-Jamaah than Muslims. Because we are a small community, we're only 1 million, but we have 1 million members, and the Muslims are still the majority. The others come from all other religions. So, the two liberation movements was the ANC and the PAC. The ANC had 30 years and they messed up. They must now step one side and the PAC must take over. But the PAC has said, no, Al-Jamaah, we want Al-Jamaah to take over the liberation movement in government. So we have 500 PAC members campaigning for us and on our party list. We, inshallah, are going to win seats all over the country. We have only 2 now. And we're going to increase those seats. And by 2029, we will have the majority in the national parliament and in many provinces. Leading up to 2029, we're going to have the balance of power like we have in Joburg, and we govern. We're going to have the balance of power in Cape Town, and we're going to govern. We're going to have the balance of power in Nelson Mandela Bay, and we're going to govern. So there is a lot of excitement that Al-Jamaah, now that it has reached 1 million members, that it is going to govern South Africa together with the liberation movement, like the PAC. The Azapu president came to see me. The president of Azania, all liberation movements came to see me. And they told me, Al-Jamaah, please lead us. Get rid of the ANC. But we're not going to get rid of the ANC. There's some good people in the ANC, like Naledi Pandor and others. We will govern with them. We will bring them on board. We won't be like them, where it's winners take all. It will be a multi-party liberation government for South Africa. Thank you very much for listening to what I have to say. I have more to say. I want to thank Salam Media. You heard that I founded Radio 76, worked my butt off for 20 years without being paid a cent. I did a labor law for program for all. Radio 76 is not here. We were prepared to pay them. Voice of the Cape, we were a bit late. They always try and be helpful. I just phoned Salam Media in Joburg 1 day ago, and they said, Honorable Hendricks, Al-Jamaah, the people of Cape Town, we're on the plane this morning. So I want to say to Ponti, thank you very much. Also, Alphas and Kosi, he runs Radio Gym. That is our own radio station. And he also came from Soweto. So thank you very much. I hope that you're going to have a lot of things to think about. I only have one request. On election day, please fetch people, vat vir hulle hulle ore, and ask them to vote for Al-Jamaah, because it's for the future of our children. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Viva Khif Hendricks, viva! Thank you, Honorable Khif Hendricks, President of Al JAMAAH Political Party, for addressing us here today at our provincial rally. We know your schedule is quite tight, and you just arrived back from Mpumalanga yesterday, and you made it in time to attend our rally today. Although you're from Cape Town, you're most of the time out of town, but thank you very much. I see the mayor is keeping you up in Gauteng, in Joburg, but we will have that private discussion with mayor a little bit later. We have concluded our program, and we just have one more item, and that is the vote of thanks. And for that, we will ask the Secretary General, Councillor Farid Ahmad, to deliver the vote of thanks. Councillor Farid Ahmad. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. You know, I've been sitting here and contemplating, why does everybody hate me? And I just realized that President gives the best speeches, and I have to spoil the day by saying goodbye, thank you, everybody. Having said that, I would like to take this opportunity to first of all thank the colleagues for allowing us to use the hall, Sheikh Hattas for his support. I need to thank the Honorable President Khif Hendricks, our Executive Mayor, Councillor Kwamanda, my National Working Committee, our support staff, our volunteers, and most importantly, our candidates. Looking at the stage that we're having here, it is actually an historical moment which Al JAMAAH is experiencing today in our 17 years, especially what we're seeing here. I'd like to give you all a round of applause. Thank you for coming out in the masses. Thank you. As of now, we are 2 days away from our national elections. The next 2 days is going to be extremely busy. But if all of us work together as a team, I know we can be successful and formidable force to reckon with. They can take on any party, and I'm confident we will rule the Western Cape. Amen. Say Amen. I can't hear you. Viva Al JAMAAH, viva! Viva Al JAMAAH, viva! Viva President Khif Hendricks, viva! Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That is why he is the Secretary General. He just knows how to make the statement. Thank you, SG, for that vote of thanks. Somebody has lost a asthma pump. Please come and collect it from the front here. Thank you. Now, thank you everybody once again for being a brilliant audience. That's it from our side. The program is now officially closed, and for that we will ask Maulana Shafiq Nolan to just do a short closing dua, and thereafter the team leaders, please come and see me here on the stage. We need to discuss regarding the refreshment. Shukran.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم يا حنان يا منان يا واسع المغفرة، اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله، إليك يرجع الأمر كله، فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا كلها. اللهم وفقنا لما تحبه وترضى من القول والفعل والنية، إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم بفضلك دعواهم فيها سبحان هم وتحيتهم فيها سلام الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Shukran, Maulana. And once again, thank you to everyone and have a safe trip home. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening to one and all.